when I was coming up for the first recipe of the show, something inspired by Elkhart Lake, my photographer and I went to a little place for breakfast every morning. It was the cutest thing. It was called Off the Rail, and it was a little coffee house, and it was basically train-related, train-themed. And all of the sandwiches that they did, the breakfast sandwiches, were named after different, train-type things. And anyway, the breakfast sandwiches were just delicious, absolutely delicious. Bagel sandwiches and paninis, and I just think that, breakfast sandwiches can be fantastic for breakfast or for lunch. So when it came to putting this recipe together, that was the first thing that I thought of. Let's do a really nice breakfast recipe inspired by Elkhart Lake and some great breakfast and coffee that we had in the morning, and show you how you can make a wonderful breakfast sandwich at home. And it's so quick and easy to do, and something different than just your standard bacon and eggs. It's portable. You can take it with you on the run, and they're just tasty. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start by melting a little bit of butter in a skillet. And I have to tell you, Ireland, my kids love breakfast sandwiches, so they're even great for dinner. So I'm going to just crack 3 eggs. And you probably have most of these ingredients right in your house already, but just maybe, people tend to get breakfast sandwiches at the drive-through restaurants, and they don't make them at home. So basically, I'm going to try and get you to make them at home, because they really rock. And you can do so many, different varieties. We're going to keep this one pretty simple because this is what, we had in the morning. And this one's just got bacon, eggs, scrambled eggs, cheese, and you can do a little tomato on there. I love tomato with my eggs. So when I do scrambled eggs, I do a little bit of salt and pepper and a little bit of milk or water. Either one. Non-stick skillet, of course, is just key when you're doing omelets or scrambled eggs. Makes all the difference in the world. And I'm going to get my eggs into the skillet. Now I want it heated, preheated, but I don't want it too hot. How are you today, Anne?
Wonderful.
Have you ever been to Elkhart Lake?
Negative.
Well, you know what? We're going to go. We're going to go. I promise you, you're going to love it. All right. She just said right after that baseball game, because she hadn't been to a baseball game in years either. One of the shows we were talking about that, but you'd love it. You really would. So the thing with eggs, scrambled eggs, is, and I've learned this from a lot of my chef friends, or I watch them sometimes if you go out to breakfast or brunch and they've got one of those omelet stations. You got to let it be for a minute here, and you got to let it do its thing. In this case, we're going to scramble them. But you just want them to kind of set up a little bit and start pulling away from the edges. So I'm just going to let it hang out for a second, and then we'll get to finishing those eggs. Went to festival and picked up some wonderful sourdough bread for a really good breakfast sandwich. That's key. And this is gorgeous stuff. Looks delicious. A couple pieces of that. Get back to my eggs. Now you see how they're starting to kind of cook around the edges? I just use a spatula and pull them into the center. That's how I do that. I don't want to overcook them because we're going to cook these again in the sandwich. And, when you overcook eggs, they get rubbery, they get dry, and they're just not good. So I actually want to undercook them a little bit. So at this point, I'm going to get them off the heat, let them hang out there, and I'm going to start assembling this sandwich. So I've got that softened butter, and I kind of do this like I would a grilled cheese. I basically want to butter the outside of the bread so it'll toast up nice. Now at this place they had a panini grill, and panini grills are wonderful. We have one at home. They've come down in price, and they're a great way to use leftovers, and you know, breakfast sandwiches, quesadillas, and things like that. They're a great way to get your kids cooking. But if you don't have one, you can just do this in a skillet like you would a regular grilled cheese sandwich. Now I'm going to throw some cheese down. Basically, you can do cheddar, Swiss, American. It's up to you what kind of cheese you want to do. This sandwich also, Sargento is based in Elkhart Lake, or that's one of their headquarters, so we thought we'd do some nice sliced Sargento cheese. And I actually want to put it on the side. So I'll do a little bit of each, Swiss and cheddar, that we don't have the butter on. Now I'm going to get to my eggs. And they're a little soft, but they're actually perfect for this because they're going to continue to cook when we do our grilled cheese sandwich. So the 3 eggs are going to be enough for 2 nice sandwiches. All right, let's get that last bit of egg on there. Thank you, Anne. I'm going to heat this up a little bit. Now we've got some bacon, a couple of strips of cooked bacon. And then if you do tomato, great. If you don't, leave it out, but I really love it. We'll do one without because Anne, yay, I knew she'd be happy about that. And my kids don't do tomato. I love the combination of tomato with eggs. Whenever I use it I love it on a grilled cheese, so it really works in this. In fact, in Europe, if you know, they serve tomato with scrambled eggs in the morning all the time. So that's kind of one of their go-to things. All right, so now we're going to start putting this together. I'm going to do a little bit more butter in the bottom of the skillet, or if you have a panini press. And I told you, these are so quick and easy to do, but they're just delicious. We had some pretty full days in Elkhart Lake, as you're going to see, so it was just nice to start out with a nice big breakfast. And I like to do that when I'm on vacation because, you know, it's nice to wake up early and maybe check your computer and go to a coffee house and have a great breakfast because that's something you normally wouldn't do at home. So it's kind of a special treat to start out your day and, you know, go to the place where the locals go, and this is definitely one of those places. Great pastries and things like that, too. All right, so I like to put a little cover on when I'm doing, you know, grilled cheese sandwiches like this, and we're just going to give them a couple minutes on each side. You can press down a little bit. Oh, how good do these look and smell? Look at this. Absolutely perfect. This one's about ready to flip too. Cheesy and wonderful, I know it, I know it. And I like to serve this with, you know, being that we've got so much going on with the sandwich, just keep it nice and light. We've got a nice fresh fruit salad that we picked up at Festival Foods. You didn't have to do all the chopping. It'd be fun actually on a weekend to kind of get an assembly line going, and everybody could put together their own breakfast sandwiches. You could have ham, Canadian bacon, maybe sausage patties, and make a big thing of scrambled eggs, and everybody can assemble their own sandwich, and then, you know, you can just fry them up. All right, these are done, and they're looking fantastic. Oh, look at how cheesy and wonderful that is. Just want to dive right in there. Bread gets all crispy outside, and you've got the bacon and the egg, and yeah, looks good, doesn't it? Wow, there you go. Breakfast sandwiches that we got in the morning to start out our day in Elkhart Lake, and you can make them at home too. We are just getting this little mini vacation started. Coming up, we are going to show you all the great things that Elkhart Lake has to offer, from hiking to biking to swimming, and great places to stay too, and not to mention amazing food. So time to check it out for ourselves and see what I'm talking about and why I fell in love with this place so much. Stay with us. We'll be back.